Another school teacher has been caught, according to the allegation, having an inappropriate relationship with a kid at the high school. Keep her picture up. This is in New Wilmington, Pennsylvania. Former high school music teacher in Lawrence County is the second teacher in the school's music department to face charges for an alleged inappropriate relationship with a student. The teacher is now in jail after her husband reported the allegations. Now, her name is Olivia Ortz, O-R-T-Z. She's 26 years of age, all right? She is from Mercer County. She has been charged with institutional sexual assault, unlawful contact with a minor, and criminal use of a communication facility. Now, let me say this. That teacher you're looking at actually replaced another teacher who had similar allegations against him. She replaced the guy who had to be charged because of the same thing. That's called culture. New Wilmington Police and Lawrence County District Attorney's Office led the investigation, which began in April. Ort's husband, who works with the district's theater productions, reported the situation to the high school principal after finding evidence of the alleged relationship, according to the police. After the teacher's husband and principal made reports to Childline, police interviewed the student at the center of it. The team reported visiting Ort's family home several times, and the pair allegedly continued to communicate through apps. We're talking about these secret apps, all right? Even after they were aware of the investigation. The student's father eventually took the girl's cell phone, iPad, and laptop, according to investigators. Now, let me show you the picture of the person she replaced. Here's the other teacher. He was number one, she's number two. So Ortz, the female teacher, is actually the second music teacher to face those charges. The Newcastle News reports that 37-year-old Jonathan Priano, that's the person right in front of you, was accused of having inappropriate relationships with female students, multiple students, in June of 2020. Let's put her picture up again. She was hired to replace him and to rebuild the trust between teacher, student, and community. Let's go back to Mr. Priano. He taught music at the high school. Priano also resigned and is facing more than 20 counts of institutional sexual assault, unlawful contact with minors, corruption of minors, and endangerment, according to Newcastle News. Here we go again. When you have the same department, you have multiple administrators. Now, these are the administrators that we are aware of. This is part of the public record. There could be more. When you have this happening, there is something terribly wrong in the culture at that institution. And we reported on so many of these throughout the country that this is a problem inside of K through 12 education. Now, will lawmakers, especially conservatives, will they actually start creating policies that protect children, or will they continue to say critical race theory is the actual boogeyman here? Do you hear leadership in our political class standing up against these things and creating policies to protect children? No. The Democrats aren't doing it either. But let me tell you why. Republicans don't give a damn enough about it to actually lead on this issue. So they lead on issues like critical race theory, which is non-existent in K through 12 education, but it is racial red meat to their base. Or they lead with COVID protocols or masks inside of schools. That's what they would lead with. Democrats, they are not sharp enough to simply stop reacting to the BS of Republicans and lead on issues like this, thus changing the entire narrative. they will simply fall for the Republicans' framing of the debate. How do you frame the debate? You throw out the debate topic, and all of a sudden, Democrats are no longer leading on issues like this. They are simply responding on issues like critical race theory. See how that works? It's called framing the debate. Republicans have mastered it. And all of a sudden, both political parties are engaged in a never-ending circular battle about things that do not change the reality for these students. So I blame them both. All right, Yasmin, thoughts here.
Yeah, this actually sounds like something very similar that happened when I was in high school, and it was in the music department again, and it was a big scandal. It actually happened, I think, the year after I left, but it was a big deal. And these things are happening all the time. And it's like what you said, we only know about the cases that get reported on and get publicized in the news, right? And what's so sad about it is that in Congress, right? Like what you were talking about, we have a stalemate, right? We have one party that keeps coming up with all these different straw men and keep trying to distract from certain things because they are simply trying to get elected into office, however they do that, whether or not that means scaring people with things like critical race theory and banning books and all these other things that they're doing in schools, now arming teachers even. And then they're just not focusing on the actual issues, the things that students are actually having to deal with, things that are hindering their actual education, right? Kids can't learn in classrooms if they're worried about getting shot in classrooms. They can't learn in classrooms if the people who are there, who they're supposed to trust to take care of them and educate them, are not doing that. And they're violating some very, very really precious things in a student's life, in a teenager's life.
Yeah, and when that trust is violated, it takes a long time for a young person to trust an adult again. It is really damaging psychologically, spiritually, and every other way you can think of.